The NFL has seen iconic names like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Jerry Rice create impactful legacies both on and off the field. Many of our favorite superstars tend to stay out of trouble and are looked upon as leaders of the team while keeping their reputations as clean as humanly possible. However, numerous superstar athletes have found themselves involved in various legal troubles during and after their playing careers. These guys were undoubtedly high talented, but their reputations were tainted or their careers were overshadowed due to trouble. So today, we're going to take a look at each NFL team's best player who had legal troubles off the field and our take on them. Arizona Cardinals, Louis Sharp. The late Louis Sharp made 3 Pro Bowls with the Cardinals and started in 189 games. However, he struggled with a crack cocaine addiction during his time on the team, and after his playing career had ended. Sharp was linked to an indicted drug dealer in 1992, and after his playing career, he was arrested for drug possession, assault, and trespassing. Sharp was able to turn things around and became a highly regarded preacher, sharing his experience with people who also dealt with drug problems. Atlanta Falcons, Michael Vick. Vick was one of the most talented dual-threat quarterbacks. However, in 2007, authorities raided a property Vick owned in Surrey County, Virginia, and found dozens of pit bulls, dogfighting equipment, and evidence of competitive dogfighting. Vick was criminally indicted by a federal grand jury along with 3 other men for the dogfights. He signed a plea deal in August of 2007 and then was sentenced to federal prison for 23 months in December of 2007. The NFL also suspended Vick indefinitely, and the Falcons released him. So Vick was released after 18 months, rebuilt his image with the Eagles, and is now an admired head coach of Norfolk State University. Baltimore Ravens, Jimmy Smith. Smith may not have been a Pro Bowler, but he helped the Ravens win Super Bowl 47 against the San Francisco 49ers. However, during his playing career, Smith was arrested and charged with a misdemeanor and disorderly conduct charge after an alleged incident at a bar in Baltimore. The charges were eventually dropped, and he wasn't suspended. Smith was suspended by the league in 2018 for 4 games for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy after it was revealed that the league found evidence of him engaging in threatening and emotionally abusive behavior towards his former girlfriend. He apologized for his actions and returned to the field later that season. Buffalo Bills, Adolphus Washington. Washington was a defensive tackle who spent 3 seasons with the Bills, playing in 31 games and had 56 tackles and 3.5 sacks. Washington ran into trouble off the field when he was arrested in July of 2017 for improperly carrying a concealed firearm in Sharonville, Ohio. Washington would be acquitted of the charges in August of that same year. Carolina Panthers, Ray Caruth. As we all know, Caruth was drafted by the Panthers to be their star wideout, but he never panned out with the franchise. Caruth's legal troubles stem from his 1999 murder-for-hire plot against his then-pregnant girlfriend, Sherika Adams, to avoid paying child support. Caruth was found guilty of conspiring to murder and was sentenced to 18 to 24 years in prison in 2001. Chicago Bears, Tank Johnson. Johnson's tenure with the Bears is more defined by his off-the-field troubles rather than any of his on-field play. In November of 2005, Johnson was arrested at a nightclub in Chicago for possession of a handgun and was given 18 months of probation. Johnson's home was raided in December of 2006, and authorities seized 6 unregistered firearms. He was charged with violating his probation. Johnson pleaded guilty to violating the terms of his probation and was sentenced to 120 days in jail, but served only 60 and was released in May of 2007. Johnson was suspended for the first 8 games of the 2007 season. Cincinnati Bengals, Adam Pac-Man Jones. Jones had a career resurgence with the Bengals after stints with the Titans and Cowboys, and made a Pro Bowl in 2015. However, trouble followed Jones when he was arrested at a Cincinnati bar in July of 2011 and charged with disorderly conduct. Jones would also get cited for disorderly conduct at a bar in 2013. Jones also punched a woman after she poured beer on him when he insulted her and her friends, at least according to witnesses. Cleveland Browns, Josh Gordon. When Gordon was on the field, he was an explosive, do-it-all kind of guy with immense physical talents and brilliance. Unfortunately, Gordon's career was massively cut short due to numerous suspensions for violating the league's substance abuse policy, getting arrested for driving while impaired in 2014, and constant check-ins into rehab that ultimately cut his NFL career short. Dallas Cowboys, Eric Williams. When Eric Williams was on the field, he was an immense talent who helped the Cowboys become a 1990s dynasty. However, he was driving drunk in 1994 and ultimately pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor DWI charge to end a grand jury investigation. Williams and a friend of his were arrested and charged with sexual assault in 1995, but the charges were dropped in 1996. Williams was also accused of rape in 1997, but it was dismissed when the woman made a false police report. Denver Broncos, Jonathan Austin Cooper. Cooper has been an emerging defensive force for the Broncos' resurgence in the 2020s. However, his career may be cut short due to his recent arrests occurring in June of 2026. Cooper and his girlfriend were arrested on 2 counts of domestic violence and 1 count of criminal mischief. Cooper pleaded not guilty in court, and then Cooper was arrested that same week on 2 additional counts of domestic violence. Detroit Lions, Titus Young. Young put up some decent stats during his rookie season with the Lions in 2011, but his career was cut short due to severe mental health struggles and legal troubles that followed. During the 2012 season, Young punched teammate Louis Delmas during a workout. Then, after his time with the Lions, he was arrested twice for a DUI, was arrested for attempting to steal his impounded car, and was sentenced to 4 years in prison in 2017 for assault. But he was released in 2018. Green Bay Packers, LaTroy Guion. Guion played okay for the Packers, recording a career-high 3.5 sacks in 2014 and helping them reach the NFC Championship game. However, Guion faced drug, gun, and battery charges after he was pulled over for swerving into the wrong lane in February of 2015. He was suspended for 3 games that season. Guion was also arrested in Hawaii in 2017 for driving under the influence and was suspended for 4 games, before being released by the Packers soon after. Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson. Whew, where do we even begin here? Over 24 women filed lawsuits against Watson in 2021 and 2022, with most of the cases being settled outside of court. As a result, Watson was suspended by the NFL for 11 games. He lost his Nike and Beats by Dre endorsements and didn't play for the Texans in 2021. Watson was traded to the Browns in 2022, where he was a complete flop and has been a complete flop to this day. Indianapolis Colts, Art Schlichter. Schlichter had a troubling gambling addiction that completely dismantled his career. He appeared in just 13 games. He bet away his $350,000 signing bonus, racked up over $700,000 in debt, and owed bookies thousands of dollars. Schlichter went to the FBI to seek protection from bookies who threatened his life. NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle suspended him for a year, then reduced the suspension to 13 months and reinstated him in 1984. Jacksonville Jaguars, Justin Blackmon. Blackmon was a very talented wide receiver when on the field. Like Josh Gordon, Blackmon also faced legal issues that derailed his NFL career. Just 2 months after he was drafted, Blackmon was arrested for driving under the influence. Then, in 2013, Blackmon was suspended for 4 games for violating the league's substance abuse policy. Then finally, in 2014, Blackmon was arrested at a traffic stop for possession of marijuana. Kansas City Chiefs, Rashee Rice. Rice was involved in a 6-car pileup in Dallas in 2024, resulting in a 6-game suspension by the NFL and serving a 30-day jail sentence. Rice was under investigation for allegedly punching a photographer, but the victim declined to press charges. Rice also served a 30-day jail sentence for violating his probation and testing positive for THC in 2026. Las Vegas Raiders, Chandler Jones. Jones was a very hard-hitting linebacker who signed a 3-year, $51 million deal with the Raiders in 2022. But he dealt with a public mental health crisis and legal troubles. In 2023, Jones was arrested on 2 counts of violating a domestic violence protection order. It was reported that Jones visited a protected individual's home, burned several items, and admitted to messaging the victim. Los Angeles Chargers, Denzel Perryman. Perryman is a veteran linebacker who is on his 2nd stint with the Chargers, but has dealt with legal issues during the 2025 season. Before the 2025 season kicked off, Perryman was arrested on weapons charges after he was pulled over and had his vehicle searched. He was ultimately not charged. The NFL suspended him for violating the league's rules on protecting players. Los Angeles Rams, Alaric Jackson. Jackson is a talented defensive tackle for the Rams, helping them win Super Bowl 56 and making the Pro Bowl. Jackson has faced some legal troubles off the field in recent days, as he was arrested in June of 2026 for a domestic battery dispute with his pregnant ex-girlfriend, where she alleged he caused injuries to her. At the moment, he won't face felony charges following the arrest. Miami Dolphins, Tyreek Hill. Hill's time in Miami was memorable on the field, but he also faced legal troubles off of it. He faced assault allegations in 2023 for allegedly hitting a man who worked at a marina. Hill had to deal with paternity lawsuits in 2023, and he is pulled over and detained in traffic before the start of the 2024 season, though those violations were dismissed. Minnesota Vikings, Adrian Peterson. Peterson made the Vikings offense fun to watch during his tenure with the team, and he'll be enshrined in the Hall of Fame. However, Peterson had a dark side. In 2014, Peterson used a switch to discipline his child and faced felony charges for his action. Peterson also had to repay a Minnesota bank for defaulting on a loan back in 2016. New England Patriots, Aaron Hernandez. Hernandez was a very gifted tight end to grace a football field in the early 2010s, making a name for himself in the Patriots offense. Hernandez was later arrested and convicted of the murder of Odin Lloyd, serving a life sentence in prison before he took his life at the age of 27. New Orleans Saints, Marshawn Lattimore. During Lattimore's time at the Saints, he faced legal troubles after being arrested for possession of a handgun believed to have been stolen in 2021. He denied that the gun was stolen and was sentenced to a year of probation after pleading guilty to a misdemeanor charge for failing to tell officers he had a concealed firearm, which he had a permit to carry. New York Giants, Lawrence Taylor. Taylor is arguably the greatest defensive player of all time. However, his on-field legacy was accompanied by a battle with substance abuse, resulting in multiple drug arrests during his playing career. Post-playing career, Taylor faced even worse crimes, like in 2010 when he was arrested for soliciting an underage prostitute, resulting in him pleading guilty and being sentenced to 6 years of probation and registering as a low-risk sex offender. New York Jets, Robbie Chosen. Robbie Chosen, then known as Robbie Anderson, made some solid plays for the Jets during his time at the team. However, he has faced some legal troubles during his tenure with the team. In 2017, Anderson was arrested at a Miami music festival for resisting arrest for violence and obstruction. Those charges were dropped in 2018, though. Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Carter. Carter has dealt with numerous legal issues, such as being involved in a fatal car crash resulting in the deaths of University of Georgia staff members Chandler LaCroix and football player Devin Wilcock. Victoria Bowles, a former Georgia staffer who survived the crash, filed a lawsuit against Carter and the Georgia Athletic Association. Carter was also fined $57,222 by the NFL for unsportsmanlike conduct when he spat on Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. Pittsburgh Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger is a Steelers legend, but he saw a couple of serious legal issues. Roethlisberger was accused of sexually assaulting a woman in June of 2008, but the case was settled in December of 2011. In 2010, Roethlisberger was being investigated by police in Milledgeville, Georgia for an alleged sexual assault. Roethlisberger was suspended for 6 games in 2010, but the suspension was ultimately reduced to 4. San Francisco 49ers, Ray McDonald. McDonald faced a couple of lawsuits during his tenure with the 49ers. He was arrested in August of 2014 on felony domestic violence charges. Then in 2015, McDonald was arrested on suspicion of domestic violence, false imprisonment, child endangerment, and violating a court order. Seattle Seahawks, Malik McDowell. McDowell faced numerous legal issues during his time at the Seahawks, including an arrest for disorderly conduct in Atlanta. McDowell was also arrested for getting into an altercation with police in Lathrop Village, Michigan, and was charged with assault, resisting arrest, and driving a vehicle while intoxicated. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Aqib Talib. When Talib was a member of the Bucs, he faced a few conduct-related issues, such as being involved in a fistfight with teammate Corey Boyd in 2008. Talib was arrested in St. Petersburg, Florida for allegedly assaulting a cab driver, and an arrest warrant was issued against him when he was accused of firing a gun at his sister's boyfriend. Tennessee Titans, Adam Pac-Man Jones. Jones faced numerous legal issues in the early parts of his career. He was on probation for a fight in West Virginia. He was arrested for assault and felony vandalism in July of 2005 after an altercation at a nightclub in Nashville. The most notorious arrest for Jones came in 2007 when he was arrested for his involvement in a massive brawl at a Las Vegas nightclub, which resulted in a shooting, leaving a club employee paralyzed. Washington Commanders, Monte Nicholson. Nicholson faced a couple of off-field legal controversies during his time in Washington. He was arrested for assault and battery and being drunk in public from an incident in Ashburn, Virginia, though those charges were dropped in 2019. Nicholson and another man were under investigation regarding the death of 21-year-old Julia Crabb, as they drove to her hospital where she died from a drug overdose. Nicholson ultimately wasn't arrested, but he was cut in 2020. But who do you think is your favorite team's most legally troubled player? Do you agree with the choices that we made on our list? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.